Duela hilabete batzuk, David Matthews kazetaria etorri zen Mondragon Unibertsitatea gertutik ezagutzera. David, erresuma batuko Times Higher Education aldizkariko kazetaria da. Eta Inside a Cooperative University artikulua argitaratu ostean, berarekin hitz egiteko geratu gara.
Hello.
Hello. Do you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine, yeah. Well, I'd heard about the Mondragon Corporation before. I was only sort of vaguely aware of it. It sounded like quite an interesting project, and I found out there was a university there. It seemed to be quite a unique project. I thought it would be very interesting to see how it actually worked in practice, whether it was whether it was a viable option or not for the UK, for elsewhere.
Which do you think that are the main differences between Mondragon Unibertsitatea and its corporativism and the education model in the UK, the university model?
Well, I mean, obviously the main difference is the ownership structure. So everyone is much more tied in financially and kind of emotionally as well, I think, into the university. You know, a lot of the people, especially the senior staff at Mondragon, seem to have worked there for a long time in UK universities. I think people move around between universities a lot more. There's not necessarily quite as much loyalty to the university. Yeah, and people did seem a bit more candid about the university, I thought. Both it's the problems in the university where sort of I didn't have to really convince anyone to sort of tell me about them, and everyone was perfectly happy to be on record about it, whereas it's a little bit more difficult to get people to be open, I think, in the UK. Obviously, in the UK and elsewhere, you know, people have to be worried about students, how they're going to recruit people, but in Mondragon, people are constantly thinking about research activity that will bring them in cash from companies or the government or whatever, and also how to bring in students, fee-paying students. So they seem to be much more involved in the kind of recruitment process.
But which do you think that are the main disadvantages or the negative sides of this university, or what do you think we should improve?
You feel a lot more secure in your job. You're probably able to get more loyalty to the institution. But of course, it makes it very, very difficult if you're going through financial difficulties. I mean, I think that's a really big problem. It could potentially be a big problem. You know, how do you boost performance if there's no way of getting rid of people? But then again, that's kind of part of what makes Mondragon different, I suppose. If you were able to get rid of people pretty easily, then it wouldn't be a cooperative. So.
Okay, that's good. And do you think that this model or some fact of this model could be brought to the UK? Do you think this corporativism should be possible in the UK?
It would be very difficult to start up a new university from scratch as a cooperative. I mean, there have been some attempts, very small attempts in the UK, teaching for free, people working for free, but Mondragon cooperatives, there's that whole traditional idea of cooperativism, and you need perhaps a more trusting, more close-knit, more kind of culturally unified country, perhaps, for that to work, for everyone to kind of collaborate. If a cooperative university is another model, then it might well be suitable for certain countries and certain areas, and why not? We've got 100 universities, or at least in the UK. If one of them were to be cooperative, it'd be interesting to see how it did. So again, it's